the Galactic Tribunal chamber fell silent. Not because of law, not because of fear, but because of one sentence that echoed across every translator crystal, monitor screen, and psychic link. You, imprisoned human children? Are you insane? They hadn't even gotten to the trial yet, and the room already knew the verdict. The Vorthan Empire had always prided itself on order. Their detention facilities were legendary, inescapable fortresses that had held the galaxy's most dangerous criminals for millennia. No one had ever escaped. No one had ever even damaged the infrastructure, until they detained a human merchant vessel for aggressive negotiation tactics. The adults were placed in standard containment, but interspecies law was clear. Juveniles of any species must be held separately in age-appropriate facilities. So 12 human children ages 4 to 16 were placed in Juvenile Detention Center 7. Within 6 hours, the facility's commander was begging for transfer. Within 12 hours, he was begging for retirement. Within 24 hours, he was just begging. Now, standing before the Galactic Tribunal, Commander ZYX Theta tried to explain what had happened. His usually perfect blue carapace was scratched, scorched, and covered in what appeared to be glitter. Your Honor, he began, his voice shaking, we followed all protocols. The children were given appropriate quarters, educational materials, and 3 regulation meals per day. Commander, the human ambassador interrupted, her face a mask of barely controlled fury. Those children sent 17 distress signals. They're not violent. They're relentless, ZYX Theta whimpered. We assumed they were elite chaos units. The tribunal judges, representing 12 different species, leaned forward. The Altarian judge, known for his impartiality, spoke first. Commander, please explain how 12 juveniles compromised a maximum security facility. ZYX Theta's compound eyes darted nervously. It started small. They complained about boredom. We gave them educational tablets. A reasonable response, the judge noted. They hacked them in 4 minutes. The 6-year-old. She said the encryption was baby stuff and asked if we had any real puzzles. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Then they complained about the food. Standard nutrient paste, perfectly balanced. You fed human children nutrient paste? The human ambassador's voice could have frozen stars. It's regulation. But they staged something they called a food strike. Except instead of not eating, they somehow turned the paste into ammunition. The older ones taught the younger ones trajectory physics using spoons and lunch trays. Continue, the judge said, though his tentacles betrayed amusement. Day 2, they said they were bored again. We gave them craft supplies. Safe ones. Paper. Soft polymers. Rounded tools. And they built a functional communications array out of paper clips and used it to order pizza. From 3 systems away. It arrived. We still don't know how. The human ambassador covered her face with her hands. By day 3, ZYX Theta continued, voice rising. They'd established what they called the Democratic Republic of Kidtopia. They wrote a constitution. In crayon. They elected the 4-year-old as president because, and I quote, she has the best ideas and shares her cookies. This doesn't sound particularly threatening, another judge observed. The president's first act was to declare war on bedtime. The second was to appoint her stuffed bear as Secretary of Defense. A stuffed toy. You gave the bear a what rank? The human ambassador muttered. They insisted. And then... ZYX Theta shuddered. Then came the snack break rebellion. The what? This is a snack break rebellion. We demand better snacks, ZYX Theta quoted in a tiny voice. They barricaded themselves in the cafeteria. The teenagers taught the little ones chemistry using cleaning supplies. Safe chemistry, they assured us, while manufacturing something they called slime. It's still there. It's been 3 weeks. It moves when we're not looking. The tribunal exchanged glances. But the worst part, ZYX Theta continued, now shaking visibly, was game night. They played games? Hide and seek, Your Honor. In a maximum security facility. We still can't find 2 of them. They appear for meals and lessons, then vanish again. The security chief had a breakdown. He keeps saying they don't escape. They invade. Commander, the lead judge said slowly, are you telling this tribunal that human children defeated your security not through violence, but through play? The 8-year-old learned our ventilation system layout in a day. She said it was just like the maps in her video games. The 12-year-old started teaching the others parkour. The teenagers jury-rigged the lighting system to flash messages. What kind of messages? The lights blinked in Morse. We think it was a threat or a joke. Maybe both. It said send better snacks or face the consequences. Then they started the music. Music. Baby Shark. On repeat. Through the announcement system. 4. 7. Hours. ZYX stayed as I twitched. The guards begged for reassignment. One said he'd rather face a black hole. The human ambassador stood. Commander, did any of these children harm anyone? No. That's the terrifying part. They were polite. They said please and thank you while systematically dismantling every system we had. The 10-year-old fixed our coffee machine because Mr. Guard looked tired. Then she taught it to only make decaf. And the teenagers? Started a journalism club. Published a daily newsletter rating the security protocols. With suggestions for improvement. Accurate suggestions. They gave our maximum security facility 2 stars out of 5. Said the Wi-Fi was too slow and the recreational options were mid. The tribunal fell silent. Finally, the human ambassador spoke. You gave highly intelligent, easily bored, human children nothing but time and basic supplies. They didn't break out because they weren't trying to escape. They were trying to improve their situation. Through democracy. And engineering. And chemical warfare via slime. Please let me go. I can't drink any more imaginary tea, ZYX Theta whispered. The 4-year-old insists I attend her tea parties. She made me a crown. From security tape and ID badges. I'm Princess Sparkle Bottom now. The lead judge cleared his throat. The tribunal rules that all human children be immediately released to their families. And Commander ZYX Theta. Yes, Your Honor? You're relieved of duty. With full psychiatric support. As the human children were reunited with their families, the 4-year-old president ran up to ZYX Theta and hugged his leg. Bye, Princess Sparklebottom. Thanks for playing with us. She handed him a glitter-covered drawing of him wearing his crown, labeled Best Alien Friend in crayon. ZYX Theta looked at it, then at the human ambassador. Try detaining our adults. They're less likely to weaponize crayons, she said. Also, that drawing? Frame it. In about 20 years, when she's a diplomat or an engineer or leading a revolution somewhere, you'll want to remember that you survived hosting humanity's future. The tribunal issued a new mandate that day. Human children were to be classified as chaotic neutral forces of nature. A footnote was added. Side effects may include facility-wide collapse and glitter-based trauma. Approach with extreme caution and abundant snacks. The news spread across the galaxy not as a warning of human aggression but as a reminder of something far more unsettling. Human children weren't dangerous because they were violent. They were dangerous because they were creative, relentless, and had absolutely no concept of impossible. Other species train their young for war, the Altarian judge mused later. Humans train theirs to question everything, rebuild anything, and make friends while doing it. No wonder they grow up to be so terrifying. They start out believing anything can be improved with enough imagination and duct tape. And the horrifying part? They're usually right.